does renewable and transition fit into all what you're saying?
Well, look, first on to the inflation factor. Most panels come from China. There are some tariffs in some countries on those. Supply issues have been a problem, and that has escalated costs. The good news is the world is now in a transition to net zero. And I make the point transition. Nothing is ever shutting off quickly. It's a transition to net zero, and renewables is a really important part of that. So while costs have gone up in renewables, just like everything else, the revenues you can earn because people need renewables are commensurately going up, possibly even more.
The main reason behind the market downturn now is the high inflation rate. And of course, the change in sentiment waters down the distinctions between bad businesses, average, and excellent. How do you actually, what's the criteria you follow when you look at a new business to do in terms of where and how and the return and even the sector?
You know, we obviously have a lot of businesses in a lot of countries and a lot of places, and we have, I crystallized our theory of business is buy great things with great people in great places. Buy great things with great people in great places. And if you follow that rule, you essentially can live through periods of time. There will be high inflation, there will be low inflation, interest rates will go up, they'll come down. We've been doing this for 35, 40 years, and we've been through, you name it, number of recessions and crises, and the bottom line, if you buy great things with great people in great places, increasingly here in the kingdom, we're going to do well over those periods of time. And that really is the success of business, but in particular with infrastructure, real estate, and businesses that revolve around it, like our private equity businesses.
If I ask you, what are the challenges the world faces today, and they keep you up at night, what would be your first three?
You know, look, I used to always answer that question in that interest rates was my greatest worry because they affect the whole world and the macro environment around you. The good news is we've just seen extreme increases in interest rates, and what I can tell you is anybody that was prepared, that was doing their business properly, is in great shape today. And even though we've seen those extremes, most of our financings are fixed rate. They will adjust over time. Rates will come back down. It's not, that's not a big worry today. For us, it's just running the scale of operation we have, which is always fun, but also a problem.
One last advice to the investors. Do you park your money now or you invest them?
I park everything in Brookfield shares.
Good advice. I think you should listen to him. I don't have money, but I'll tell people with deep pockets to do that. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Lubna, thank you so much, and Bruce. So advice on where you park your money, very, very clear there. We have a very important announcement coming from His Royal Highness the Crown Prince that PIF will establish 5 regional investment companies following the launch of the Saudi-Egyptian Investment Company. And of course, that will be with the aim to invest up to a total of $24 billion across key sectors. So just have a quick listen to this before we start our next session.
أنا أعتقد أن أوروبا الجديدة هي الشرق الأوسط.
This is the start of a new story.
It's a story about a rapidly interconnecting region and a vision that's worth believing in.
It's a vision we're bringing to life right now in our cities, ports, and markets.
Our past has shown us what's possible. Our resilience will make it real.
We have the knowledge and the ability to innovate, so we can create a future we can claim as our own.
One that honors our history and celebrates our land.
One rooted in people and as rich as our soil.
Our path forward is clear.
We're going to create something entirely new together.
Let's secure the life we always wanted.
And show the world what's possible.
Let's give our potential a platform.
The vision is just a seed. Now, it's time to grow.
We're launching 6 PIF companies in Bahrain, Egypt, Iraq, Jordan, Oman, Sudan, to invest up to $24 billion in people and partnerships across the MENA region.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Peter Diamandis. I'm very proud to be a member of the board of FII. What an extraordinary event that Richard and the team have put together. I'm also the founder and executive chairman of the X Prize Foundation, and it's a pleasure to introduce an amazing woman here. Anousheh Ansari was born in Tehran, grew up with a dream and a passion of spaceflight, came to the US, became a serial entrepreneur. I met her in 2001 when I was searching to raise $10 million for a private competition for spaceflight. You see, I announced a $10 million competition without having the money, but when I tracked down Anousheh, she had just sold her company for a little over $1 billion, and we were able to get her to commit $10 million for a private competition for the first team who could build a spaceship carrying 3 adults up into space, landing safely, and do it again within 2 weeks. The Ansari X Prize, as was called, was successful. It launched the commercial spaceflight industry. Virgin Galactic came out of it. And then Anousheh flew privately to the space station, the first female private astronaut for 10 days, to ISS, came back, and 3 years ago, she joined us at the X Prize as our CEO. Anousheh, welcome.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
So I'm curious, after starting 3 successful companies and going as an astronaut privately to the ISS, why did you come back and join X Prize as CEO?
You know, being able to go to space changes your perspective on everything. And for me, it was about focusing on what's important. And I felt that there's no other place where I can have the biggest impact in the world than at X Prize, because we focus on the biggest challenges, biggest problems that humanity faces, and then we ask the world to innovate and bring about breakthroughs that will solve those problems. And this I want to be my legacy.
Beautiful. Well, you have a number of legacies. So the first X Prize, $10 million for private spaceflight. It has driven hundreds of billions of dollars in investment after that. What challenges did the X Prize take up next?
We've launched since then close to $300 million worth of prizes. We've awarded most of them. We have 6 active prizes. We're very focused on climate and energy issues right now. 5 of the domains that we're most active are climate and energy, biodiversity and conservation. Health is a big area of focus. Learning, education, and society is another big area of focus for us. And food, waste, water. These are areas that, you know, you hear about it in the news all the time, where the problems are, and there's no reason why we should be plagued by these problems anymore. The rate of innovation can help us solve all of these with long-term thinking.
So I guess the question is, when we normally think about solving big, grand challenges, you have government programs that will fund one, you'll have a company that will start, but an incentive competition, in this case an X Prize, is different. Can you talk about the model is there for crowdsourcing solutions?
Well, the model is what attracted me as an entrepreneur to begin with, because it's a different kind of philanthropy where, you know, instead of 50 cents on a dollar going to your cause, you actually have a multiplier effect. You leverage your money, you leverage your philanthropic investment, and you get 10, 30, 40 times that in terms of investment in the problem that you want to solve. Our risk-taking appetite is greater than any government agency or any corporation because they have to deal with short-term thinking. So through our platform, we can really understand, look at, where the root cause problems are and how we can really define this problem and attract the world to solve it. So if there are companies or government entities or individuals out there who are passionate about solving a problem, I cannot think of a better platform or better way to solve this problem, because instead of investing in one team, you tell the world to solve those problems, and once they've actually built and demonstrated the solution, that's when you pay. As an entrepreneur, I paid millions of dollars to a group of engineers. 5, 10 years later, I ended up maybe with the exact thing I wanted or not. But here, you don't pay until you actually have the solution delivered to you in your hand.
So I think it would be worthwhile taking a second and talk about what are the grand challenges that you're focused on right now. What are the big shots that we're taking on? Go.
Well, right now, last year, Earth Day, we launched the largest private competition in the world. It's extracting carbon out of the atmosphere or oceans at gigaton level. Musk Foundation, Elon has sponsored the prize, and to me, that brought about a lot of innovation that wasn't there before. We had 3,000 teams register and show interest, and about at least 600 of those now are building solutions. And half of them, if not more, didn't exist before this competition. And that's what the competition does. With announcing this challenge to the world, we really inspire innovators who've been sitting on the sideline thinking about a problem to have a reason to jump in and actually start building solutions. We're working on a wildfire competition to detect and extinguish wildfires and do it effectively. And that is a problem that we see in the news all the time. We're looking at coral restoration. We have an active prize in protein alternatives to feed the next billion. Health is another great area for us. During COVID, we were able to have challenges to develop and distribute 10 million rapid COVID tests. That has been very helpful. It was the fastest one that we've ever launched. And we're looking at how we can extend the healthy lifespan of human beings. And in the area of education, we're looking at new ways of learning because our education system is antiquated and we need to upgrade it. So that's another big area of focus for us.
So when you put up a large prize, in this case, we've launched prizes from 10 million to 100 million, and some are growing larger. You're asking the teams from around the world and saying, I don't care where you're from or what you've ever done before, if you solve this, you win. What makes you believe that these entrepreneurs, in some case hundreds of teams or thousands of teams, have a shot at solving these problems that no one else has solved before?
Well, I think you increase your chances. We know that the solution is out there, and instead of just bringing one team, and even if you go hire the best scientists in the world, they're limited by their way of thinking and their own experiences. Why not have, hundreds of thousands of people, if not millions of people, focus on that? And that's where we're going next at X Prize, is really expanding our footprint and really calling out to the world and having millions of people engaged in identifying the prizes that we want to focus on, and then taking an active role in solving it. And there's nothing to lose because you don't pay until someone actually solves it. If they don't, which we had some cases, we had prizes that didn't get won, but still we brought about the same level of awareness and investment going into the solution. And maybe they don't get it solved on the timeline we determine, but they can solve it maybe, 6 months later or a year later. But the problem will get the attention, will get the investment, and eventually will be solved when we launch a competition.
So we're in MENA. X Prize began in Silicon Valley, and with a lot of Google, Elon Musk and Larry Page and those guys